Blame Truth here, and I have an absolute bombshell to drop on you guys today. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to get right on in to the meat and potatoes because, well, I got a lot I want to get off my chest, you see? So, there is a bunch of news I want to cover today, and this kind of is a sequel in a sense to the last video. I hope you guys are cool with me kind of, I guess, putting a lot of different topics into one video instead of just doing like a video every day. I do one every couple of days covering a broad range of topics. If you guys are cool with that, let me know in the comment section below. Just trying to evolve with the times. I've only been doing YouTube for 18 motherfucking years, so I like to stay relevant. But either way, I digress. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. I want to cover the main point in my last video, which was that Verdansk, according to the numbers that we can track, isn't a success. It does not look like it moved the needle at all. But see, I try to be unbiased here. Yes, I am negative, but I will always give credit where it's due. So I want to cover this tweet by the Ghost of Hope, and I want to just kind of go over the numbers and see if we could find some sort of actual truth in this matter. Now, Ghost of Hope, how do I put this? I kind of view his word as gospel. He's like the number one leaker I trust. So when he says something, I really tend to just flat out believe it. So let's look at this tweet and then let's look at the numbers, and we'll see that some things just don't really make a lot of sense, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to kind of find a deductively reasoned conclusion, all right? So Ghost of Hope says this: Activision/Raven Software are excited with the numbers they've seen for players returning and playing Warzone after the launch of Verdansk. The update has exceeded expectations. Xbox Game Pass and PS Store numbers are quote-unquote off the charts compared to what they were. I'm going to stop right there and say that's a weird sentence, because compared to what they were, I mean, they were fucking dog shit before this update came out. So compared to what they were, I'm sure they are off the charts, but let's continue. They have even seen an uplift in BO6 sales and downloads because of the update. Again, that's a weird thing, because we saw them release Black Ops 6 free-to-play on the April 2nd, I guess, pre-update before Warzone, and the Steam numbers didn't flinch. I think they actually went down when they did that. They're also doing a week-long free trial for BO6, which is odd to me. If they were up, why would you still be trying to peddle off the game for free? Except to like get people to play the game so you can tout it as this super successful month to your shareholders. But anyway, also with what I've seen on the Black Ops 6 subreddit, the game isn't doing well player wise, and this is like the top upvoted like thread for the week or so. Let me just pull this up for you. You guys can be the judge, all right? This meme is just talking about leaving the match and getting thrown back into the same match. This game with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of players, supposedly, we don't know, will put you in the same match you left for whatever reason. Nobody knows why. 2 or 3 times even. I mean, they talk about it in the comments section too. Let's look at the replies. When I join a team on TDM where it's clearly one-sided and I'm on the losing side, I don't even bother with it and I quit. And when I try to go into a new game, it puts me back in the same fucking match. Also, there are a couple of maps that I never want to play in ever again, Lowtown, and for some reason, I am always forced into that map when I clearly don't want any part of it. This guy says, this game needs a map filter so bad. This guy replies, problem is everyone is avoiding the terrible maps, and a map filter will make it so that nobody will play them. I fail to see how that's a problem. It always makes me laugh when I see someone leaving and coming back 2 to 3 times in a row. I'm not sure about you guys, but running into the same like 12 people over and over doesn't strike me as a game that's doing very well. Doesn't strike me as a game that's doing a lot of aliving. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm just saying. This report doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but let's keep covering it here. They are talking about showing more restraint with Warzone for skins, bundles, / microtransactions. Crossovers are printing money, but they hear the criticism that the game is starting to look stupid. And this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, because if they're printing money and they're happy with the player base, then what's the issue? Like, if the players are coming back in droves and the skins are selling well, what does it matter if the game is starting to look stupid to a disgruntled few? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's just a lot of contradictory stuff in this. And I'm not just saying this because it goes against the numbers on Steam charts. I know Steam charts is not the end-all be-all. I know that it's not the entire player base. We have concluded through some math and some player count leaks that it's probably around 15 to 20% of the player base, give or take. And I do know that the game runs worse with Warzone, at least on Steam. Why that hasn't been fixed like 6 months in, I have no idea. But the point is that you're putting a lot of faith in people to not give up on the game entirely and then switch to an entirely different platform and re-enter all their stuff and re-download the game. In some cases, you are giving them a lot of credit to purchase the game even again, if it's Black Ops 6 or whatever, on a different platform or relog in. I mean, it's a fucking pain in the ass, and most people cannot be bothered. There's this weird narrative, too, that the Call of Duty community is, like, super casual and won't do anything that inconveniences them. So what is it? Like, they're too lazy to go in and check a box that turns crossplay off with PC, according to a lot of people. But at the same time, they're going to go through all of this bullshit to get a few more frames for their game on Warzone. Like, which is it? What is the Call of Duty community really? Are they hardcore nerds that are jobless and sweating and smell like green onions? Or are they ultra casuals that pick their nose and don't know the difference between an MP5 and a PS5? Like, which is it? No one actually knows. Everyone's making shit up. I choose to just look at the hard data, the hard numbers, the motherfucking facts. Can I get an amen? Give me an amen in the comments section, please. Thank you. I get that Steam charts is not the entire player base. I get that console and PC will have slightly different audiences and different things going on. So this could very well be true on the console end. But the fact of the matter is that nowadays PC and console are pretty much split right down the middle as far as the player base goes. PC has a slight edge even. So I'm not sure if we're just not seeing the data that's being reported here. Maybe people are rushing to buy Black Ops 6. I mean, I saw it at GameStop on sale, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're rushing to buy Black Ops 6 because the Verdansk update is pretty good. Maybe just all this is actually true, at least on half of the platforms. Or maybe, and this is something that I have covered countless times here on this channel, maybe Activision are not being truthful and they are sucking their own dick yet again. If they had the option to remove their ribcage so they could better give themselves head, they would do so. The only thing these narcissistic weird fuckers like more than money is sucking their own penis. They also love lying to us. We've caught them in so many lies just in the last 6 months alone with Black Ops 6 and stuff. Erroneous visual blood effects, anyone? Explaining how SBMM works, but it not aligning with your actual experience. I mean, we've caught them in so many lies. They've gotten community noted on Twitter a few times now. I'm sorry, I just don't buy anything they are selling me. It wouldn't surprise me if by the end of this month, they're going to say, like, Call of Duty Warzone was the most downloaded game by non-binary cousins twice removed in the wonderful, convenient location of Africa. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they just make up some weird statistic like that, because they love doing it. It looks good to their shareholders, which gives them money. So when I say, like, the only thing they like more than money is sucking their own dick, I mean, it's still money at the end of the day, but they also get the pleasure of the fellatio. You know what, dude? Anyway, the point is that I'm not seeing it in the numbers on Steam charts. I'm just not seeing the stuff that Ghost of Hope reported. So while I think that Ghost of Hope is a reputable source, maybe his source is just, I don't know, man, a little biased with this. Maybe they want this leak to get out to make them look better, because if it came out that the game was not doing too well, then it wouldn't look good and more people would leave, you know? But let's look at the actual Steam charts here. And again, man, I got so much flack when I covered that they went from 138,000 like peak players to 105,000 in the course of one day. And people were saying, oh, dude, it's just Monday, BT. It's Monday. That's why nobody's playing the game. And then as the week progresses, more and more players drop off. We've lost about 9,000 players since I initially talked about that. Peak players, I mean. And now on a Friday, which is like an end of the week, you know, kind of bigger day than any other weekday, it still can't break 100,000 concurrent players. It just doesn't look good. I mean, I'm sure the weekend will be better, but I would almost bet money that they will not have more players on the weekend, this weekend, than they did the initial weekend. It's just how Call of Duty is. Like, nothing in this game is meant for longevity. It's just like meant to tie you over until the next thing you're meant to consume. So, I don't know. It's up in the air. The numbers I'm seeing just really aren't that impressive. And if we compare them to other numbers on Steam, we go back in time. I mean, nothing's really standing out. Like, Modern Warfare 3 had more peak players in August 2024. And that was with, Warzone as well. So this is an extra game tacked on. And their numbers are in the toilet still, average players-wise. I mean, that'll go up in time, I'm sure, if they maintain these numbers. But the peak player counts are still below what they were without this extra game tacked on. I don't see how this Warzone update is a success. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure that the hardcore Warzone community are eating well. I've even heard that the anti-cheat's better. So that's great. Great news there. But what I am saying, and what I've continually said, is that it's too little too late. They have absolutely fucked their community for the past 5 years, guys. Most people, sad to say, have just moved on. So while the update is good, it's just too little too late. But let's get into something that I read today that actually gave me a bit of hope. And I had to make this video after I saw it. I knew this was like something you guys will be pretty excited for. So without further ado, let's cover the topic of skill-based matchmaking, SBMM, in the next Battlefield game. Some leakers found that SBMM was being used in the game files for the next Battlefield game. This sent the community in a frenzy because SBMM has not been used in Battlefield before. In fact, Delta Force implemented it and no one likes it, as far as I can tell, and it's one of the reasons I'm not bothering with that game. I'm so sick of playing in a tournament in casual modes. Battlefield is a game not designed for SBMM. It's a big team battle. Join a server, join a team, use teamwork to overcome the enemy. Individual skill levels don't matter so much as the overall teamwork factor in getting the W as far as Battlefield goes. So when people saw this, they obviously panicked. So let's check this out. This is from a dev talking about the issue, something that it took Call of Duty like 5 fucking years to do, and then when they did talk about it, they weren't truthful. Now, it remains to be seen if this dev is being truthful, but let's cover this right now. You guys be the judge. This gives me some hope, though, for the next Battlefield, and honestly, if they double down on this, Call of Duty actually has some competition on their hands. PSA from David Serland in BF Labs surrounding the controversy of SBMM. PSA 2042 has SBMM according to this definition. This is what I tried to detail above yesterday. It has a factor of skill, it's used, but ping and time to game is the top priority. And in a 64-player game, our want is to spawn a server that starts as soon as possible. Thus, the skill factor is negligible in terms of sorting into servers. Also, with a party that is more or less ignored. Just for clarity, saying SBMM is bad is not really useful. What you really want to say is heavy SBMM, where skill separation is a priority, is bad. I agree. But that doesn't make skill as a factor in matchmaking bad wholesale. On the contrary, we need a skill value to make balanced teams, no matter the ranges of skills total on a server. It wouldn't be fun if all high skill players ended up on the same team, would it? I agree. That's what X Defiant did, and I think that's what most old Call of Duties did, and it worked fine. The whole like balancing teams once they're in the lobby via a hidden skill rating, that's been a thing since I started playing Call of Duty back in 2007. I'm all for it. It's the simplest solution. Just to calm this thing down a tad, the fact a skill value is in the matchmaker, it's been there since we started being able to matchmake, by the way, doesn't mean we are going with a heavy-handed SBMM solution. Quite the opposite, Battlefield is at its best when you play the all-out war modes with friends and different types of players. We do not want to limit that. All of this is true, skill being important for team balancing, regardless of in which way you join the server. For reference, did you feel like the BF Labs playtests were heavy-handed SBMM? No? Then we're good. It's the same matchmaker and settings we'll use, with tweaks if we find any issues, of course. Bravo. Fucking bravo. Thank you. Just be transparent with your system. I play a little bit of Dead by Daylight, and right now it's really not good because they have some like overpowered anime twink thing going on. But for the most part, SBMM in Dead by Daylight is a pretty simple system, and I don't find it to be that intrusive or negative. There's like basically 3 tiers as far as I understand. There is like brand new beginner pace eater tier, there's medium tier, which is just kind of the average, and then there's like high tier, which is the good players. And from what I understand, medium and high tier kind of intermingle, so it's really not that bad. I would prefer if it's just not there at all, and you just have like the bottom tier for the bad players and keep them there until they graduate, per se. But for the most part, as long as you are open and honest about how your system works, and I do mean honest, that's the key word here, and something Call of Duty has not been with us, and I have made videos proving that their skill-based matchmaking papers are complete and utter bullshit. You know, their 48-page fucking Korans and Bibles they put out regarding the data, the data, their precious, precious data. It's complete horseshit, man. Like, this is what I want to see, though. Open communication before the game comes out. And if we really look at the Steam numbers, by the way, if we really look at the actual data that we do have, the real unskewed, unbiased motherfucking data, the real stuff that we do have, we see a decline with Call of Duty. And I'm telling you guys right now, this EOMM engagement optimized matchmaking system, which is what it is, although honestly, Prime Pete made a video talking about how there's some advertising with the store going on as well in the matchmaking. I mean, their matchmaking system, it's completely inorganic. Everything about it is completely inorganic, and you may as well go to the casino and play the slots, man, instead of playing Call of Duty. Seriously, I'm not kidding. At this point in the game, it's clearly not working. When people know it's there, it doesn't work. If your community is like really, really stupid and they don't question anything, I'm sure the system would work. But the fact of the matter is once you know it's there and the community, you know, has talked about it for the past 5 years, it simply doesn't work, which is why we have seen nothing but decline after decline, year after year, guys. On Steam charts, we saw record lows. Okay? Like, I'm not making it up. I'm not just pulling these numbers out of my ass. From Modern Warfare 2 until now, we have just seen dip after dip after dip. And now with these, Verdansk like leaks from Ghost of Hope, which don't really make a whole lot of sense, I'm just questioning everything. I'm like, are they even being honest about their leaks now? You know what I mean? Like, are the people leaking to Ghost of Hope even being honest about stuff? I don't know. I don't really choose to believe it. But let's get back to Battlefield SBMM and GTA 6 and whatnot. I want to talk about that as well. I've been talking about like GTA 6 making Call of Duty very nervous this year because the planned game for this year, guys, is Black Ops 6.5. Well, not really. It's Black Ops 7, but it's just going to be this like glorified, rehashed Black Ops 2 clone with wall running added in, and it's still gonna have Omni movement. I'm not even sure. It's gonna be a DLC, basically. It's gonna be what Modern Warfare 3 was to Modern Warfare 2. And I do mean Modern Warfare Roman numeral 3 to Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, because we have so many things rehashed now, I can't even say a certain game without specifying that. But that's a good segue into the final topic of this video. I mentioned GTA 6 a second ago and how has Call of Duty scared. Well, I think with the new Battlefield, it seems like they're actually trying with this one. I think with that also has Call of Duty scared. I mean, they have nothing but a glorified DLC to a game that completely shit the bed and lost players at a record rate. It is not going to move the needle this year. What is their emergency break glass kind of solution here? Activision, I mean. Well, according to Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming, there may be a plan, and I've seen Nero cover this already, but there may be a plan to bring back Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and I mean the OG ones. Why are they going to bring back both of them? I don't really know, but just look at this. This is something that came out a couple of days ago, and it's very, very interesting. It seems like things are getting closer to a re-release of the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 for a new generation. Ratings for a cross-gen edition for both MW2 and MW3 have appeared online thanks to the Australian Classification Board. As expected, both were given MA 15+ ratings by the board. Both were given the classification on April 3rd with a production date of 2025. For Modern Warfare 2, the game rated is a PS5 cross-gen edition. Modern Warfare 3's rating doesn't mention PS5, rather just it being cross-gen as well. No other details about the games are given on the website aside from them being from Activision Blizzard. And while it wasn't confirmed that it's the original MW2 and 3, the styling of using Arabic numerals as opposed to Roman numerals leads to the belief it's the games from 2009 and 2011. Now, if we look at this as a positive, if we get a remastering or just kind of a fixed, hacker-free re-release of MW2 and MW3, maybe somehow combining the two games to play all the maps in one go, I mean, that would be pretty sick. If they don't touch anything else about it, and they just make it so like you could play MW3 and MW2 maps with MW2 and MW3 guns or something like that, that'd be pretty cool. Like, if they just somehow mash them together, or, I mean, even if they separate it and release them as two separate games, that's also pretty sweet. I'm down with that, too. But that's fun and awesome, so they won't do it. What they're probably going to do is they're probably going to remaster these games, a la MW Remastered, MW1 Remastered, Call of Duty 4 Remastered, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They'll probably do that and then put in some kind of stupid monetization, some ridiculous matchmaking system, and false advertise it, and sell it with Black Ops 7 because Black Ops 7 is simply not going to move the needle. They're going to kind of bundle it with that, I'm sure, and then the player count's going to be split between all these games, and no matter which one you're playing, they're all going to be in the horrible Call of Duty HQ, which will boost their numbers so they actually have a chance of somehow competing with Battlefield and GTA 6 this year. That's probably what's going to happen, the latter, I mean. And it's going to be a disaster. Let me tell you guys something right now, man. I've been doing this for a long ass time, right? 2007, Call of Duty 4 is what launched my channel. Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 launched my channel even further, and I have fond memories of playing Modern Warfare 3 especially. If they butcher one of my favorite entries in the entire Call of Duty series and fill it with fucking Ninja Turtles and Hulk Hogan and the Ghost of Stonewall Jackson skins or whatever stupid fucking shit they're gonna put in to sell to little Timmy and the guy that works 50 hours a week at McDonald's and lives in his mom's basement. If they do that, Blame Truth is going to go scorched earth on those motherfuckers. You will not hear the end of it if they ruin one of my beloved games. Bookmark this video though, because I guarantee you what I just said, if they actually release these games this year, what I just said, the latter portion I mean, will probably come true. Verbatim. And, oh man, it's gonna be a bad year for Call of Duty if even that stuff doesn't work. But it's clear they're desperate. I don't think that the Verdansk update moved the needle as much as they say. I really don't, man. The numbers just aren't there for me to believe that. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed rate, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll catch you on the next one. Also, I want to nail Phil Spencer to the fucking cross. Goodbye.